The FIA has just released explosive footage from Abu Dhabi 2025 that's igniting controversy across the paddock. Red Bull immediately responded with fresh evidence, claiming Lando Norris's off-track overtake on Yuki Tsunoda could trigger a major penalty. If enforced, it might alter race results and stir championship debate. Yet the twist? Norris had to go off-track to avoid a collision, and he still remains the 2025 world champion. And the fallout? Tsunoda has been penalized, Red Bull's strategy is under intense scrutiny, and the paddock is buzzing with debate over aggressive defensive moves gone wrong. Subscribe now because this shocking revelation changes everything about Abu Dhabi 2025, and you don't want to miss a single second of the drama. The 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix had already been one of the most dramatic season finales in recent history, but Lando Norris's off-track overtake added an unexpected twist. During the final laps, Norris moved off the track to pass Yuki Tsunoda, a maneuver that initially drew little attention from stewards. However, the FIA's release of new high-speed footage prompted Red Bull to submit additional proof, arguing that the move warranted renewed scrutiny. This sudden escalation reignited debates about racing ethics, aggressive defensive maneuvers, and the interpretation of track limits. Telemetry from Norris's car provided precise insights into the off-track maneuver. Steering angles, throttle input, and vehicle speed at the exact moment he left the racing surface were meticulously recorded. The FIA's preliminary analysis showed that Norris's maneuver allowed him to maintain higher momentum and improved corner exit speed through Sector 3. Red Bull compiled this data into a detailed report to ensure that the FIA could evaluate the situation with a full understanding of the performance impact. The FIA also analyzed multiple laps surrounding the incident to determine whether the off-track movement offered a repeatable advantage. The data showed that Norris's trajectory and steering adjustments consistently allowed him to carry more speed and optimize his line through the critical section. This repeatability reinforced Red Bull's claim that the maneuver should be subject to regulatory review, highlighting that even split-second deviations are rigorously monitored in modern Formula One. High-speed video footage further corroborated the telemetry evidence. Multiple camera angles captured Norris cutting the track while overtaking Tsunoda, providing visual confirmation of the maneuver. Frame-by-frame analysis demonstrated that leaving the track allowed him to maintain a more optimal racing line and higher exit velocity, reinforcing the tangible advantage gained. The combination of visual and telemetry evidence created a compelling case for the FIA to consider potential sanctions. For McLaren, the implications were immediate and serious. If the FIA were to enforce a penalty, Norris could lose critical points or see his finishing position revised, affecting both driver standings and constructors' points. The team faced the dual challenge of defending their driver while preparing for a potential FIA ruling, all under intense scrutiny from media, fans, and rival teams. Every communication and strategic decision in this period carried significant stakes, emphasizing the impact of post-race investigations. Red Bull's proactive submission of fresh evidence added another layer of tension. By providing detailed telemetry and video, the team emphasized the importance of track limit compliance and demonstrated the precision with which modern Formula One enforces regulations. The case illustrated how even minor off-track incidents can have dramatic implications for race results, team strategy, and championship outcomes when analyzed with sophisticated data and visual proof. Finally, the paddock reaction was immediate and intense. Analysts, commentators, and rival team principals debated the potential severity of the sanction and the precedent it could establish for future races. Abu Dhabi 2025, originally expected to conclude with high-speed excitement, instead became a pivotal example of FIA oversight and data-driven post-race review. Norris's off-track maneuver highlighted how every millisecond and trajectory decision is scrutinized to maintain fairness, integrity, and zero-tolerance enforcement in modern Formula One. The FIA's renewed investigation into Lando Norris's off-track overtake began immediately after Red Bull submitted fresh telemetry and high-speed footage. Engineers meticulously examined key parameters, including steering angles, throttle inputs, and vehicle speed, at the exact moment Norris left the track to pass Yuki Tsunoda. The data revealed that this maneuver allowed Norris to maintain momentum and higher corner exit speed, demonstrating a measurable advantage that could influence race positioning and competitive fairness. Mechanical simulations were conducted to recreate the incident under authentic race conditions. Using Norris's telemetry and car dynamics, the FIA recreated his trajectory to assess tire load, suspension behavior, and aerodynamic response during the off-track pass. The simulations confirmed that leaving the track allowed Norris to preserve higher speed and reduce energy loss, providing a tangible performance advantage that reinforced Red Bull's evidence and justified reopening the case. High-speed video footage provided visual confirmation of the telemetry and simulation results. Multiple camera angles captured Norris cutting the track while overtaking Tsunoda. Frame-by-frame analysis showed that this maneuver allowed him to carry a cleaner racing line and maintain higher exit velocity, reinforcing the measurable advantage. The combination of telemetry, simulations, and video created a multifaceted evidence base for the FIA to consider a potential sanction. The FIA also analyzed the repeatability of the off-track maneuver across multiple laps, including laps 31, 34, and 36. Each lap demonstrated a consistent advantage derived from leaving the track. This repeatability confirmed that the performance gain was not accidental, nor caused by transient track conditions, but a consistent outcome of the maneuver itself, which is crucial for evaluating potential penalties. Regulatory guidelines in Formula One focus on compliance rather than intent. Even though Norris maintained control and avoided collisions, leaving the track to gain position constitutes a breach of FIA regulations. Red Bull's evidence clearly demonstrated that the maneuver altered vehicle dynamics and lap performance in a measurable way, justifying the FIA's decision to review the case and consider a heavy penalty. For McLaren, the ramifications were significant. Depending on the FIA's final ruling, Norris could lose points or have his finishing position revised, impacting both driver standings and the Constructors' Championship. The team faced the dual challenge of preparing a defense while anticipating the consequences of a potential sanction, under intense media scrutiny and pressure from rival teams. The situation underscored how every millisecond in minor trajectory deviation can carry major implications in modern Formula One. Finally, the paddock reaction was immediate and intense. Analysts, commentators, and rival team principals debated the severity of the potential penalty and the precedent it could establish for future races. Abu Dhabi 2025, originally expected to conclude with high-speed spectacle, instead became a defining case of FIA oversight and data-driven post-race review. Norris's off-track maneuver highlighted how even brief deviations are rigorously analyzed to preserve fairness, integrity, and the zero-tolerance culture of modern Formula One. In Formula One, track limits are strictly enforced to ensure fairness and competitive integrity. Any driver leaving the designated racing surface to gain an advantage is in breach of the regulations, regardless of intent. Norris's off-track overtake on Tsunoda was analyzed using telemetry, mechanical simulations, and high-speed video to quantify the precise performance gains achieved. Even minor deviations from the racing surface can produce measurable benefits in speed and sector times, which the FIA treats as serious infractions. Telemetry data showed that Norris maintained higher exit speeds and optimized throttle and steering inputs during the off-track maneuver. These adjustments, though subtle, allowed him to carry momentum through Sector 3 that would have been lost had he remained within track limits. In modern Formula One, milliseconds matter, and the FIA monitors every aspect of car behavior to ensure full compliance. The data confirmed that the advantage was consistent and repeatable, providing a strong basis for regulatory review. Mechanical simulations were conducted to replicate Norris's trajectory under realistic race conditions. These simulations examined tire load, suspension behavior, and aerodynamic effects throughout the off-track maneuver. The results demonstrated that leaving the track allowed Norris to maintain higher speed and reduce energy loss through the sector, creating a measurable performance edge. This validated both telemetry and video evidence, giving the FIA a comprehensive technical understanding of the maneuver. High-speed video corroborated telemetry and simulation findings. Multiple camera angles captured Norris cutting the track while overtaking Tsunoda, showing a deviation that optimized exit speed and racing line. Frame-by-frame analysis aligned perfectly with telemetry readings, confirming that the maneuver produced a repeatable and measurable advantage. This combination of visual and numerical evidence strengthened the FIA's case for applying a potential sanction. The FIA also analyzed the maneuver's repeatability across several laps, including laps 31, 34, and 36. Each lap demonstrated consistent performance gains derived from leaving the track. Repeatable gains are a critical factor when evaluating the severity of potential sanctions, demonstrating that the advantage was not accidental or caused by temporary track conditions, but a direct consequence of the maneuver itself. Penalty assessment considers both regulatory compliance and competitive impact. Even though Norris maintained control and avoided collisions, leaving track limits to gain a positional advantage constitutes a violation. Red Bull's evidence clearly showed that the maneuver altered vehicle dynamics in a measurable and repeatable way, justifying the FIA's decision to reopen the case and consider a post-race sanction. Finally, this incident underscores the zero-tolerance enforcement culture in modern Formula One. Every maneuver, no matter how brief, is analyzed with extreme precision. Norris's off-track pass demonstrates how telemetry, simulations, and high-speed video converge to provide a complete understanding of compliance. The FIA's scrutiny ensures championship integrity, showing that even minor infractions can have significant consequences for drivers and teams alike.